All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We do thank you for being here today. And I'm Janet Frazier. I am the Inca District DLF.
And I'm Haley, the Irwin District Digital Learning Facilitator. And we're excited that you guys are here and curious, why did you come here today and what's your thoughts with choice sports? You can unmute and take a minute and share what's your thoughts or questions you have or why you think choice sports are a good thing.
I've seen choice boards and I love them because all the information is there for the kids. They don't have to go like from one place to another, and they have the option to choose whatever activities, appeal to them. But I don't know how to make them or do them. So that's why I'm here.
That's good. That's a good thing, right? That's hopefully you have all the options and we're going to help you get those plugged in today on a choice board. Anybody else have any whys of why they're here today for choice boards or why they would like to use choice boards?
I feel like some of my higher students, my high flyers, if you will, are needing a little something extra. Of course, we have the kids who don't complete assignments, who are behind that we're worried about, but I feel like I want to be able to provide a little more for those kids who are doing everything and needing a little extra something.
Awesome. So we have a couple things in the chat. They said Lorraine invited them. They love choice boards. They use the same model daily in Zoom. So maybe hopefully they'll leave today with some ideas. All right, let's close that out. So some different ideas for choice boards. And it definitely helps increase student engagement. You're able to differentiate. You could have a choice board where things are in colors and you could say, I need you to do 2 reds and 1 green activity, or build just building in choice. It can tap into their interest. Students take their ownership of their learning when they have the option to choose what they're doing. And then we have some options for like guided versus complete choice. And we'll show some of those ideas today with, a tic-tac-toe board where they have to do certain columns or certain regions of that board, or a certain number of tasks to do, or how they want to do that choice. And then, of course, the varied learning modalities.
So we do have several different examples that I want to share with you just very briefly. And just know at the end of this presentation, we are going to give you a link to it. And when you get the link to the presentation, you then will be able to go back in and click on links to most all of these examples to either make a copy of it or to go in and experiment with it a little bit more. But this is really not a choice board. It is a guided work example, but it does pull in that feel of a choice board, and it gives students that engagement factor. It's almost like they're playing a game. So we really like this one. This is from Chris Shiner, who does a lot of really amazing Seesaw work. This is from one of our very own Buncombe County teachers. She created this back in the spring when we were doing obviously online work, but this gave students a way to go in and review the different concepts that they had learned in kindergarten during the year. And it linked out to books, it linked out to videos, it linked out to activities, all about one particular subject. And they had this for several different subjects. This is just an example of a student choice board by subject. And so, for this one, you might say on Monday, you're going to select one reading example, one writing example, one math example, and then one of the other examples. And so it gives them some choice, but it also gives them some guidance because they're still having to do one thing from each column. And the way this one was created, they're able then to pull a red X over it after they do it to show that they've done that one. So this one was actually created in a Google slide. This one was based on the framework, our Buncombe County framework, and you see that the read, write, think, listen, speak, and move, the different parts of our framework are covered in the different rounded squares around the edge of it. And this is just a basic example that we pulled that was built in Google Docs. And so it doesn't have to be something created in a fancy tool. Google Docs, which we know and are familiar with, is just a great tool to start with. And this one obviously has a lot of information in it. So for Seesaw, this is probably going to be more than what somebody using Seesaw needs, but it's the look of it that we wanted you to see. And so there are a couple of different things that you need to know as you're using this. When you're sharing a Google slide or a Google Doc in Seesaw, on iPads, what you want to make sure that you select when you're putting this in is that you select anyone with the link can view, because we don't want our students going in and editing most of these. You're going to upload it as a slideshow if you've done it in Google Slides, and then you're going to have students view the original. And this sounds, and you're going to have these steps, so you don't have to worry about writing this down because you're going to have this when you get the link back. But the basics for this are when students are in Seesaw and they go and they have to click view original, it seems like an extra step, but after students have done this once or twice, it becomes like second nature to them, and they know exactly how to get into these Google Docs or Google Slides or whatever format that you have this in Seesaw, so that they can get to it very simply. And then we did include some best practices when you're putting it in. Put it in as a published link, and that is what that the choice board that you had on choice boards to practice with at the very beginning, that was a published link. So it's all nice and finished, and students can click on it and interact with it, but then they are not actually changing it. A couple of other best practices: clicking the view original or clicking the caption link, and then putting it in the example slot so that you have an example in Seesaw, but you can also have a template if you need a template for student work. And this just shows you're putting it in, you can put in your template under template, putting in the choice board where it says multimedia instructions or example, and that just keeps it nice and clean, and you still have the template for student work. And we're going to look at this a little more in depth in a minute.
So the other thought or the other idea is actually building that choice directly in Seesaw. And now we have the ability inside Seesaw where you can create links, and you could link those to videos and articles outside of Seesaw, or, and change that, Janet, next slide over. That's just showing the link one more time. You have the ability to link within your inside your Seesaw slides. So now that we have the multi-page post, you could link the third article or the third thing to something they're going to be doing possibly on slide 2 or 3 within that same Seesaw post.
Like linking in Google Slides. It's really nice if you're familiar with linking between slides and Google Slides.
All right. So our idea today is we're going to split you guys, or we're going to let you choose a breakout room to go to. So Janet's going to go to a breakout room, and in Janet's breakout room, you're going to have the option to kind of learn how to build that in Google Slides. And my breakout room is going to be learning how to build a little bit within Seesaw. So I think we'll take about 10 minutes in the breakout rooms and really just kind of dig in to show you how to build and give you a little bit of time to actually hopefully walk away today with a little bit of a choice board built that you can continue working on. So I've got that ready, I think, Janet. So let's see what happens here. Room 1 is going to be Janet. She's going to be working with Google Slides. And room 2 is going to be me with Seesaw and choice boards. So we'll let you choose which room you would like to go to, and we'll see you there. So welcome. I'm just going to quickly show you a couple things to make sure that you know how to get those choice boards started if you're working directly in Seesaw. And you know, those of you who know who I am, very informal. If you have questions, please just unmute and yell at me and we'll get it figured out. So let's start here inside Seesaw. So inside Seesaw, I'm pretty sure that we're all familiar, or at least have tried to build a new activity. So one of those options is we can add a template for those students to be able to choose what links and things they want to go to. My favorite is the drawing, but inside this drawing tool, we then have the ability to create all kinds of different things. Now I can't see you guys. I hope you can see me. We good?
We're good.
Good. All right. So within Seesaw, all the regular tools are going to work the same way. We can insert an image. Let's just go and upload an image. All right. Let's just pick my face because I know that one's safe really quick. Whoa. So depending on what you want that choice to be, Janet showed several different examples. So it could be one from each column or pick two out of the board to do. But the biggest thing we want to make sure that you guys know how to do is once you have that image or that text, the three little dots is going to allow you to link. And when you choose link, you can paste in whatever page you want that to go to. So we'll link it to this PD today just because that's fun. And it will link. Okay, are we good so far? So
Yes.
we would make a title at the top. Let's give this a title. I was going to do one on weather and I got completely distracted by my technical difficulties today. Please choose 3 to complete. We could stick this up at the top. Another option is if we have some text, and we might give text directions. Text directions could say, please make sure you, whatever you want them to say, 3 dots, and we can link it to a URL as well. With this choice, we bring it to the forward, bring it to the back. But let's say that we have another page where we're going to have a fill in the blank activity that we want our kids to do. And I know these are not the best examples, but we can go into our text. And instead of linking it to a URL, we could link it to a certain page for them to go do. So we had this discussion this morning about keeping our students, you know, within Seesaw. Sometimes I know with our K1s, linking them to a video or linking them to an external site, they can get a little bit lost. So page 2 might have some information on them to read or to fill in the blank or to circle their certain sounds that they're hearing within that. So the biggest thing with this is making sure that knowing how to get those links in and knowing that there's so many of these already built. Oh, sorry, this is right in the way. I'm sorry. My screens are doing crazy black boxes for everyone too. Knowing that these are, so many of them are already built that we can take and edit. So I do want to show you guys that. I'm not going to save this one. But within our activity library, we can search for choice boards in the community, or even within our school, I was able to find several. So one example that does very similarly to what we were looking at today is one that I found from a PE teacher he's actually at Johnston Elementary. He has his directions up at the top. Why can't I see? Let me go to my library to pull it up. I was in my library. So on his template, he has linked other activities, videos, and things for the students to choose for PE. And these are links to videos and things that he has put in. I'm going to stop for just a second. Questions as far as being able to link either to a URL or be able to link to a separate page. Does everybody follow the different ways of those two options? Okay. So I want to give you, let's say, the last 2 minutes to log into your Seesaw. There'll be the awkward silence from my part, but either take a minute and think about an activity that you're doing later on this week or possibly next week. And what could we link those things to? I worked with some second grade teachers, and we were linking to some PBS articles or YouTube videos or even Foundations pages. So take a moment, either try to create that link on one of your pages or see if there's one you can find and edit to become your own. Of course, if you have questions, please let us know.
Haley,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to edit an activity that I had, but how do you link it to a page? Because when I click on the 3 dots on the bottom, it just says like enter a website URL.
Do you have you've got to build that second page before you can link it. So if you go down to the bottom and add the page and have that page, even if it's blank and there's nothing on it yet, if you put something that will let you link it. I just did the same thing. I didn't tell you guys I messed up right in front of you, but you do have to have that something on that page before it will link.
Okay.
So Haley,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Jan. I'm trying to search the Buncombe County Library. I just want to see what our teachers have developed. So if I search by the teacher's last name, I'm not finding much.
So
by
the
choice
teachers,
board?
yeah, the teachers would have to put those in there. I found a couple when I searched Buncombe County Activity Library by just searching choice boards. But if you go out to the community, you'll find a lot. That's something we would love, as you guys are creating these wonderful materials, figure out a good way of naming those so that others could find them. And pulling our coaches in to help us when you see a teacher doing something awesome, getting those great ideas into the activity library, even for our district, so that we can all need a little help from each other with building these. Everybody's working hard to build some great materials. So, all right, I'm going to pull us back in with the other group. Any other questions before we close out? Just, it's quick. I know this is a quick session today, just to hopefully kind of spark your interest in building, and then we'll have to definitely follow up.
Haley, I had a comment. I started off kind of doing, I saw on one of the other PDs where they would make the notebook where you would click on the links for the daily activities. I had tried that with my students, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the choice board. You tap on the different links for the different activities. And I'm in first grade, and a problem that I noticed that was very common would the kids would lose their activities and they would lose their work because they would forget to put themselves in draft before they left. So I think it's very important that you teach the kids and remind the kids before you tap this link to go watch the video about the phonics skill, you need to put your work in draft or it will be gone.
Losing
and everything else, you lose everything on every slide if you haven't saved it. And that was huge.
I've definitely heard that from others as well. Teaching the kids to save, every time they walk away, to save draft and then come back and finish it later.
I think I can. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a couple of quick things, and then I'm going to have you minimize me so that you can try it yourself. And you can unmute at any time to ask a question. That will not bother me a bit. So just in case you don't know this, if you go to just an open browser and type in slides.new, it will actually open a new slide deck. And within this slide deck, and you can do the same thing in Google Docs or in Google Slides. I prefer working in Google Slides, so I'm going to start in Google Slides. So I'm going to just highlight these and push delete, and those will go away. And then if we're going to make this a choice board, we're going to decide how we want to formulate our choice board. So let's just pick a shape, and we're going to do the rounded square. And let's do a cuter color, and I like outlines on mine. Okay, and so once I have that, when I have my crosshairs and click on it, if I can click Control D, it's going to duplicate. And then we will add the boxes that we want. Let's see if we can get them all in line. And of course we would take more time to make it neat, but now let's another color. All right, obviously we would even it up a little bit. There we go, close. And so after I have this built like this, one of the nice things is you can create one and use it as a template over and over. But then I can, that's going to drive me crazy. But I can add my title at the top, and then I'm going to come in here and start either linking out to wherever I want the students to go, or linking to another slide if I have my activity on a slide. So what I'd like for you to do is take just about 1 minute and go ahead and minimize our Zoom and go to that slides.new, or if you want to do a Google docs.new, and go ahead and start putting in some boxes that you can use for your choice board. And so just kind of think, do you want to do tic-tac-toe looking? Do you want to do 3x3 grid, 4x4? Do you want just columns? Maybe it's just 2 columns. Maybe you just want to do it by color. But go ahead and start making some kind of format that you can at least start with. You can always go back and edit later. And I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to do that, and then we'll talk some more. And again, feel free to unmute and talk anytime you need to. All right, I think we have got a couple of minutes under our belt. Has anybody got a board that they've created so far that you'd like to share with us real quick?
I'll share.
Yeah, I'd just love to see what somebody else's brain comes up with, because there's lots of great brains in here.
All right, so this is sort of what I did. My kids know I'm obsessed with sticky notes, so I thought that might give a little like personalization to the kids and also give them their directions.
I love it.
So they didn't have to click the info at the top of Seesaw.
Very good.
And then
Very
I
good.
did like videos or speeches or something, because I thought about using it for more learning about Martin Luther King.
Good. Does anybody have anything that's maybe a little different than what one of us came up with? Anybody have a question about what we were working on?
How do I get that sticky note? Where is that?
Rebecca, you want to share where you got that?
So I got it from the shapes, and I just picked a shape once I find it again, which now that I'm looking, I'm not going to be able to find it. Right there. It's right beside the smiley faces. So then you just make it any size.
Perfect.
And
Thanks.
any color too. So
Yep.
that's
I
great.
look at sticky notes.
That's great. It looks good too. Okay, so after you've got your basic format, you know, if this was something you were going to want to do maybe once a week on Wednesdays, you were going to let them have a choice as to which activity or something like that. Then you could start adding your materials. So right here, we could take this box, and when I click on it and I have the crosshairs like that, then I get the link option, and I could paste in a link directly to a video, or maybe to a site that I want them to research. And so maybe their instructions are going to be find out about fractions. And then I might link it out to a fraction website, or it might be play this game about Oops, I can't spell today. Put my last name instead. Okay, so play this game about fractions, and again, linking out to that. One of the nice things is being able to insert audio or video, or even, well, let's see, I think it's click the video. We can pull a YouTube video directly from here. If you needed a YouTube video, of course, you'll just want to make sure that your YouTube video has been opened. If it's not a video that you regularly use, you know, if it's a new one, make sure that that's been opened. But any thoughts or ideas that you'd want to share with this smaller group, maybe about items you might put in here? Okay, so what I like to do when I get this in here is I like to go to File and then Publish to the Web. And then when I click Publish, and you all may already know this, but I want to show you just in case, click Control-C. And when you actually put that into, if you link that in your Google Classroom or in your Seesaw classroom, what it does is it gives you this nice published version. And if this were a live link and I clicked on it, it would go directly to that particular link without them being able to, it doesn't even look like a slide. It looks like a published website, which makes it really nice. The other option would be adding, let's just go to a new slide, adding a new slide here. So maybe this slide, that second slide was going to have our instructions about what they could do for science. I could click Insert Link and either the next slide or slide 2 and apply it. And then when that's published, it would go directly to that slide. And then this slide could have pictures, more detailed instructions, picture instructions if you're in kindergarten and you need to give them real visuals as to what they're going to do. You could embed a video here explaining to them what they're going to do. So there's just a lot of options for what you can do. And again, I would go back to this Publish to the Web, grab this link, and when you put that link in, then it's going to have that hyperlink available.
Janet?
Yes, ma'am.
I love this. I'm a 6th grade teacher and incorporating more choice boards, but the idea of having a choice board for every Wednesday is opening my mind right now. And do you guys have these choices be cooperative, like find another person? I mean, we have them go, you know, they even set up their own Zooms, but work together. Is that what you guys are doing with this? I mean, that's just exciting to me. I've got all kinds of things clicking.
Good, good. Yeah, and it's totally, I mean, it's really wide open. So, you know, it could be find a partner, or however you would assign them a partner and have them work together to do something. That could be one of the choices. But also it could even be going to a collaborative Jamboard or a collaborative Padlet where they're going and they're contributing to a class-wide document. Or maybe it's a link to another slide presentation and they're claiming one slide and they're doing work on that slide. And the whole class is creating a book, a digital book that's made out of Google Slides. So definitely collaboration could be an idea, which would be a great, powerful way to use these, I feel like. And that might even be, you know, maybe here instead of math, ELA, and science, it's all ELA, and you have one for collaboration and one for independent work.
Are we making it back?
We are. We didn't want to leave. We were right in the middle of talking about using this for collaboration, which is a fantastic.
Well, we were definitely would love to have some more time too as we started searching the Seesaw activity library for other choice boards that were already built.
Good. And Jan had asked about the collaboration, and I would definitely say, you know, if you have other people that you know are interested in this, especially that are your grade level or your content area, work together, and one of you create it for one thing and another one create it for another, and share them back and forth. Make copies, you know, for yourself so that you can just tweak it the way you want it, which really makes life a lot simpler. Okay, so there are, and this is what I was about to pop out of my mouth when I stopped myself, but there are so many templates that are already created that you don't have to start from scratch. And so again, when you get this in just a few minutes, when we give you the link, you're going to have access to each of these links. And these are going to take you into templates or into websites that will give you access to a lot of templates. And so just know that you don't have to start from scratch. Use a template, tweak it, and go with it. And I was just going to ask, did anybody have any questions or any ideas that they got that they'd like to share with us as we, if you need to pop off, we understand, but if you have a question or an idea that you'd like to share, we would love for you to do that now as well.
That's still not working for me, Haley. I do have that one question in our group. Someone was saying that they're putting together like the links in Seesaw, and they said that if their students don't save their work before taking a link, that it won't save their work. I just wanted to.
Yeah, sometimes in Seesaw, if they step out of Seesaw and go to a website and Seesaw closes or they don't go back to Seesaw, it doesn't save that work. So a good rule of thumb would be to go up top and hit save as draft. Every time, if it's multi-page, if when they finish a page, hit that save as draft before going off of that Seesaw activity, or anytime they're working and they want to stop for a second. That mainly has to do with bigger assignments that are multi-page, just so that they guarantee they can get back. Or if it's just a choice board where it's links, it's really not going to matter. But if they have work on those pages, they're definitely going to want to save those.
Right. I have been putting the links in the template part in any presentation there, and then just the student response has been just the actual work. But that'll be a little bit different with what's going on.
Yeah. And Shelly, I went ahead and just added you to that Google form, so no worries. I'm not sure what that's doing to you.
Thank you. Bye.